Hello and welcome to Motors for the Masses, and today we are going to have a discussion and probably an argument.
Yeah, we're going to discuss how motors are no longer for the masses. Because unless you're a cyclist or a pedestrian, what's the point?
Yes, so if you're a cyclist and a pedestrian, you matter.
Well, yeah, it's a good thing.
Right.
But it's bad for the motorist.
Don't forget horses.
Yeah, they're not motorists.
No, but they have horsepower. Does that count?
Not really.
Right, okay, so as you know, as of the 29th of January 2022, there are 8 changes to the highway code.
You'd be surprised how many people don't know that.
If you don't know, now you do. Right, now I've checked the microphones on, we can carry on. So yes, there are 8 changes. What are these 8 changes? Well, a lot of them. Some people just go, oh, it's mad, it's all the power to these cyclists, which is partly true. But it's not actually as bad as you think, because a lot of these changes have already been in place. They just are ignored, mostly.
Most of it's not law, it's just advisories anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, so let's start. People crossing roads at junctions. Now, before, James, you can be the artist. There you go. Right. Alright, you can be the holder.
He's the easel.
Yeah, the easel. Right, okay, so before you had a corner like this. If there was a person standing here, alright, and a vehicle was coming here, going round a left-hand bend, that's a junction.
Where's your lanes?
Yeah. Right, before, this car could just happily go la 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 la, and that person would die if they stepped out. However, the old rule was always, if they step into the road, you must stop and let them continue.
Yeah, they get priority.
Yeah, that was always the case. Now, even if they're standing there waiting...
That's a zebra crossing now.
Yes, this car, he's not bitter about it, as you can tell. This car has to stop. Now, this is great, and we'll come on to the other rules in a minute, but I want to add something to this.
Unless they're standing there in the pitch black wearing black clothes, you can't see them, and they're just going to walk into the road.
Right, okay, so let's highlight this point first. Jamie, what do you think is the advantage of this?
You want to have a look at the picture?
Well, the advantage, I suppose, for the pedestrian is that they've got priority, so the vehicle should stop to allow them to cross the road. However, the problem with that is if they're relying on that, in my experience, most people that are driving are just going to run them over. So, it's a bit funny. I don't think it's going to make a bit of difference at all, because people don't pay any attention to the rules that they are now, and if they did, we'd have a lot less issues. So what's going to say they're going to take any notice of these new rules anyway?
Fair point.
Yeah. Now, one disadvantage to this that you pointed out was that if all of a sudden this car is going round this bend and then it sees a pedestrian and stops, say here, I'm going to draw that, stops, say here, what's the issue with that?
You need to draw another car behind that one.
Well, there you go, let's use this car here.
Smashing into the back of it.
Yeah, smashing into the back of that car.
Because they may not have seen the pedestrian and therefore you're stopping for no reason at all.
But don't worry, if you're the one stopping, it's not going to be your fault, because it's always the blame for the person from behind. So.
That's a fair point as well, yeah.
So who cares? Just stop.
Well,
let them smash into the back here. Get a new car.
No, unless of course you are that person here in this car, and the person in front of you.
Well, if you were the person behind, then you should have left enough space for doing an emergency brake. So again, like I say, if everyone followed the rules, it'd be fine, wouldn't it?
No, that's not exactly fair, though, is it?
No, that's exactly fair. It's great. 100%.
Okay, but if you're sitting in a flow of traffic, and you're coming up to a junction, you're going from a major road to a minor road, you're already doing, say, 26 miles an hour. Quite often you can get round the corner at about 20, 25 miles an hour. All of a sudden, you then stop at 20 miles an hour, and the car behind you
has still got at least 2 seconds to stop it.
I mean, if you go for that argument,
at 25 miles an hour.
You've managed to stop for the pedestrian, so they should manage to stop for you.
Okay. So there's no issue. What are you complaining about? Shut up.
There's going to be issues, though, isn't there? Let's face it.
Yeah, it's just going to be the same. Everyone's just going to see the pedestrian on the side of the corner and just drive on. Or, they're not going to care that they're standing on the side of the road and waiting to cross. They're not going to stop, are they? They're just going to drive past.
Yeah, well, they will stop and the car behind will be too close.
The only time they're going to stop is if the pedestrian steps out on the side of the road just because they don't want to run them over.
Right, which is what happens now anyway.
Exactly.
So there's no massive difference, really.
But what I can see is that pedestrian not standing there to wait. They're just going to walk.
They're just going to walk out thinking I've got priority.
I mean, all that is going to happen is that dumb people that don't look before they cross the road are still going to get run over. It's just simple as that, isn't it? You know, if you look and the road's clear, you can cross. If there's a car bloody coming, you can't.
Right. So if you lack intelligence, beware.
Don't walk across the road.
Get someone to hold your hand.
I don't think you even need intelligence. Just like a bit of common sense will help, mate.
Okay. So anyway,
But the problem
brings
with
us-
this whole situation, going on to it some more, is that regardless of the situation, if that person gets hit, it's the driver's fault.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
It's never going to be the person's fault for stepping into the
No,
road.
and that is where I think drivers are going to complain about, quite rightly so. Because it's not always necessarily going to be the driver's fault, because he's got to look around. Not only does he have to look for someone standing there, he's got to look in his mirror for someone coming up behind him, just in case. But he's
Bicyclist.
also got to look, and we'll come on to that in a minute because that's the next point, of the cyclist who is possibly coming up on the left or the right. Or currently in the middle of the road. And we'll come
Or
on to
coming
that in a
out of
minute
the
as well.
junction, or just cycling across, or a car turning right that's cutting the corner. It's just nonsense.
Yeah.
And
You're
what,
looking
what you
at
need
so
is
much.
6 dash cams or a Tesla with 6 dash cams. So,
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
surrounded thing.
that's what you need, isn't it? You know, cover your backside.
If you've got a Tesla,
Now-
they're more likely to step in front of you, aren't they?
Okay, point number 3, walking, cycling or riding in shared spaces. Now these, I'm going through them by the list of what they're saying. Now, there will be new guidance in this code. People cycling, riding a horse or driving a horse-drawn vehicle should respect the safety of people walking in these spaces. These are the shared ones, like these ones where you see the cycle and the person carrying a little
Yes,
person.
this is your hierarchy system, isn't it?
Yes.
Looking out for the more injurable people.
But what they're saying is, do not pass people walking, riding a horse or horse-drawn vehicle closely or at high speed. Now, we've all walked down these paths and all of a sudden this cyclist goes, come past you at a great rate of knots.
Yeah.
I can't see that changing personally, but apparently that's law now. How you'd manage to police that, I have no idea.
Cyclists don't even look where they're going, do they? So how are they going to know if there's a person walking there to slow down?
And it says particularly from behind, so basically what they're saying is slow down when necessary and let people walking know you are there. We're out the bloody way!
I think the key thing is that it's not law, it's guidance, isn't it? The only thing that becomes like a problem with law is that if you were involved in an accident and it was deemed that you were paying no attention at all,
Is it
then it
guidance
can
or-
go against you in court.
In the highway code, does it say you should or you must?
I don't think the highway code is law.
It does say there will be new
It
guidance.
says you must.
It says new guidance.
Yeah.
It doesn't say law. The word law hasn't
whole
been
highway
used.
code
Guidance
is
in the
guidance.
code,
Okay, fair enough.
in the law.
So it also says, remember that people walking may be deaf, blind or partially sighted. Well, it doesn't matter what you say or do, that they're never going to see you or hear you then, are they?
Unless you need to take extra precautions, but you do.
Which
that
means you've got to go really slow. Do not pass a horse on the left.
So don't drive on the pavement.
What happens if a horse is on the right hand side of the road? You can never go past that
No,
horse.
you've got to wait for it to move, I suppose.
Yeah, wait. Okay.
Presumably, if the horse is over to the right, it's there because they're either overtaking or turning right.
Horses overtaking.
Or turning. If you're in the right-hand side of your lane, like when you're driving in a single carriageway, if you move to the right, you're turning right. Your place position on the lane is on the left.
Just got visions of horses going past. Bloody cars!
I mean,
Traffic!
that's funny. I mean, I'm quite careful going past horses. The reason being, mate, is I can imagine myself being stuck on a horse, someone go past and that horse just goes nuts, mate. You've got no control, you've got no brakes or nothing, mate. You know, you're just along for the ride.
Yeah.
So.
It's the same thing happened when I went out on my enduro bike the other day, and I came round a corner and there was a horse. I almost slowed to a stop. I held probably a good 30 metres back in first gear. They pulled into someone's driveway, signalled to me, and I still went to the other side of the road very slowly, made sure, looked behind, made sure that they were still okay before I accelerated away. That's just common courtesy. I don't need a guidance to tell me, do that. But
Yeah,
you do see
unfortunately,
videos of cars.
people do.
People think just because they pulled out by 6 metres, 6 feet,
Yeah, so nice.
that's enough. I can still carry on at the same speed, but you can't because that horse, all of a sudden, that horse is quite often blinkered and it's going in this direction, and it's just sort of, all of a sudden, this vehicle arrives. It's a startling thing.
But even if you're approaching and the horse is on the other side coming towards you, you still slow right down.
Yeah, of course you do.
And creep past. Just because you're on the other side doesn't mean you can just blast through.
No. Right, let's lead us on to point number 4. Now, this is one I think is going to have issues. Positioning in the road when cycling.
Yeah.
Now, there will be guidance, updated guidance for people cycling about positioning themselves. Riding in the centre of their lane on quiet roads, in slower moving traffic, and at an approach to junctions or road narrowings. Now, what constitutes a quiet road?
Well,
Does that mean a 60-mile-an-hour road that's in the countryside?
Very little traffic.
Yeah, basically what it means is that you can be out in the centre of the lane if it's not really busy. If you've got queues of traffic building up behind you, you need to move over slightly to try and allow the traffic to overtake.
It does say in that guidance you have to allow overtaking in a safe place.
Yeah.
Keeping a distance at least 0.5 metres, just over 1.5 feet away from the curb edge. There's going to be bikes fitted with tape measures here. And further where it is safer, when riding on busy roads with vehicles moving faster than them. The updated bit is cycling in groups should be considered of the needs of other road users when riding in groups. Can ride 2 abreast. So bikes now can ride 2 abreast absolutely fine, which I think they could anyway.
Yeah, I think they could.
But now they're actually encouraging people to ride 2 abreast.
But it would have been nice if they
I
had
think you'll
some
probably
kind of
find
courtesy and moved out your way.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It probably says that, obviously you're going to abreast, if there's loads of traffic behind you, can move into single to allow them to go past.
Yeah, but they don't. They just think, I'm doing 20 mile an hour.
Yeah,
That's
again,
perfectly good enough.
It's down to people, own people's common courtesy, aren't it?
Unfortunately, I'm going to tar cyclists, but most cyclists that wear the lycras and whizzing around in the countryside, they're riding 2 abreast, they don't give a crap.
I mean, I understand.
Quite often they're like this.
Yeah, and they
They're not
cycle
looking
into
where
the
they're
back
going.
of things that aren't moving. We've seen it.
It's happened to one of our bikes.
Yeah.
Someone rode into the back of it when it was parked at the side of the road, indicating.
Yeah.
And someone head down, straight in the back
When
of
you
the
see it on
bike.
YouTube, people like cycling to the back of buses and things.
That's funny.
It's just, why aren't you looking where you're going?
That is funny.
I mean, the bit where it says about obviously
Do you care?
riding in the centre and coming up to junctions, getting the centre. It's no different from what we tell all the youngsters on mopeds doing 30 mile an hour.
Own the road.
The centre of your lane that's your right to be in. If you move over to the left, people are going to try and push past you, which can become dangerous.
Yeah.
So I understand that part about it, but I do understand that. Again, if I'm going down a 40 mile an hour road on a moped doing 30 and it's quite a wide road, I will move over slightly to the curb to allow the vehicles to pass me. I won't just sit there and just go, this is my lane. No. I will do what I deem safe for myself and other road users at that time.
But I think this is going to encourage a lot of the people that go, I'm going to make you famous on YouTube, with their little cameras on their helmets and the cameras
All going on
helmets
YouTube. That's what they'll have every single time.
Yeah.
You just cycle past, drive
Yes,
past.
I think that's going to encourage that a hell of a lot more, and it's just going to invoke a hell of a lot of anger.
It's a bit like the thing with the junction and people turning, they're going to think it's just there right away, so they're just going to step out off that curb regardless of what car's coming or how quick it's coming around the corner, and they're just going to expect the car to stop.
So a lot of this is common courtesy, but is it going to get down to that, or is it just going to get down to he said that, she said that, arguing cyclist versus car? Which is what it's always been, but now exacerbated a lot more because I know my rights is going to get in.
It's because as the dense, percentage of dense people in the population go up, they have to bring out these new rules. I mean, it's just stupid.
It's true. It's like health and safety, isn't it?
Yes, I mean the rules about parked vehicles has never changed. Take care when passing parked vehicles. Leave enough room, a door's width. That's always been there.
Yeah.
So that's never really an issue. Right. Okay. Now, when you overtake horses, now this. I understand, and again I think this is common sense, but what they've put in here, they've said about 1.5 metres away from people cycling, leave at least 1.5 metres or 5 feet when overtaking people cycling at speeds of up to 30 miles an hour, and give them more space when overtaking at higher speeds. Okay. Passing people riding horses or horse-drawn vehicles at under 10 miles per hour and allowing at least 2 metres or 6.5 foot of space. Allowing at least 2 metres of space and keeping at low speed when passing people walking on the road. That's common sense. That's never really been an issue. The only time that's ever going to be an issue is 2 metres is quite wide. Quite often you see horses on country roads. you're not going to be able to be 2 metres away from a horse
No.
on a country road.
There
It's
might be enough
impossible.
space to safely pass.
So you're just
but
going to have to
it's
sit there behind and wait till they get off the road, or
Well, they often signal you by, don't they?
they do, yeah.
Yeah. Or you just reduce your speed enough so it's safe enough no matter what happens. If you're only
Yeah.
doing 2 mile an hour past them,
Yeah.
that is safe enough for you to react to any issues.
So again, that's not really changed. I don't think the horses have ever been an issue. I think
It's an issue for some people, clearly, otherwise they wouldn't have made the rule.
well, it's an issue for horse riders. I mean, I've seen many videos of horse riders, frightened of how their horse is reacting because it's going nuts, because you see cars flying past. The problem is, people like that, who clearly have no common courtesy, aren't going to take a blind bit of notice of this.
No.
They're just going to carry on doing it. Because it's guidance and not law.
Well, like I say, it depends what they write it as in the highway code. If it says you must, then it's a law.
Okay, people turning on traffic lights. Now, this has been an argument for quite a long time. I personally believe that a lot, not all cyclists, but a lot of cyclists see the traffic lights as just decoration for the side of the road.
Yeah.
The amount of cyclists I've seen, and they seem to think, if I slow down and just creep through a red light, I can carry on. I very rarely see cyclists stop at red lights. Very rarely. I've seen some of them just thunder through.
Yeah.
A lot of them creep through, and that
Or they'll
winds
do
me
that
up.
annoying thing where they bump up to the curb and they become a pedestrian on the pavement and then jump back down onto the
Yeah,
paved road
thinking they've
that's
got
right.
round it.
Yeah.
So they are talking about putting in these new cyclist style traffic lights where you get a little green, a little amber and a little red cycle lower down so cyclists can see them. Do you think that'll make a difference?
It's good use of money, isn't it?
No, I mean, if they can't see a bloody van that's parked in front of them that they'd smash into, are they going to be looking at red traffic lights, are they?
No. And let's be honest, slightly higher. I mean, instead of doing that, they've now just got to do that.
Yeah, they need to be on the road.
It makes no difference. No, it needs a big barrier coming out. One of those stop signs. Slam!
Yeah. You will stop. Just level crossings everywhere.
Yeah. Oh dear. Who's up for that? I'm up for that. A big stop sign. Brilliant.
Phone's on Stanley's head.
Don't know. Yeah, sorry. Don't know who that is.
Turn your phones off, he said.
The phone is off. It's the watch. Okay, so the code will be updated to clarify when turning into and out of a side road. People cycling should give way to people walking. So cyclists, you're going to have to stop for pedestrians. Good luck with that one. There will be new advice about special cycling facilities at some junctions. It's going to be confusing for some of them.
Well, something else I saw about this, I don't know whether it's actually written in or not, is if you're pulling up to a junction onto a main road or on a side road, and there's a cyclist either on a pavement or a cycle lane on the pavement, you have to stop and give them a thing to cross the road.
So the cycle on the road will have to give way to the cyclist on the path, the cycle path.
Yeah, or a car. If someone's on the road coming up onto a main road, and there's a cycle path crossing, the
Right.
cycle path's got the right of way because they are technically like road users on that main road.
What
So you
happens
have
if
to
a
hang back
person
and
is
give
walking across the road and a cycle comes up to that cycle path?
I don't know, someone's going to get crashed into.
There's a lot of grey areas. So some junctions will include these small cycle traffic lights at eye level, which will allow cyclists to move separately from or before other traffic. Now, this is where I have an issue.
I think that's
in
good.
traffic. Yes, no, but what comes onto this, and we'll get back to our little chart here, is if this car is here, cyclists are now encouraged to go this side or this side of the car. They're allowed to do that. I see big issues with that. If that car then turns left and has stopped waiting for this pedestrian to cross the road, and this cyclist comes thundering down the inside, it's going to be very difficult to see them coming. And if this car is parked here, they could quite easily plough into the back of that car. Especially if they just have to stop suddenly.
I would like to think that a cyclist coming up on a car that's already done the manoeuvre they're going to see it, but you know they're not going to.
No.
However,
places like London is where this is going to be an issue.
Before you turn, you've checked your mirror and your blind spot for a cyclist.
Yeah, but
anyway.
I'm thinking, like I say, something like London is where it's got big cities where there's a lot of congested traffic. Is where it's going to be an issue.
For it to be an issue.
No, but I think it will, because you've got slow-moving traffic, courier cyclists constantly going up and down, left and right all the time. If this car then decides, once it's moved close enough in the traffic, to turn left, and suddenly he turns left and this cyclist is coming thundering up here, slam. If he suddenly has to stop for a pedestrian crossing the road here,
yeah, and he's already
slam.
Blocked the road.
Yeah. I think that's where it's going to be the biggest issue. The fact that the cyclist is encouraged to go either left or right of the car, and they have priority.
I think your courier cyclists are probably the better cyclists. They're not going to be head down lycra wearing countryside riders.
No, but no one has the ability to stop that quickly and think that quickly.
No, but I think if the car's got the indicators flashing and has already started to make the manoeuvre and stopped, the cyclist's going to have already reacted and moved over.
I mean, it should be the case of a bit like in cars, isn't it? You know, you should be able to leave enough gap to whatever happens for you to react to whatever happens. If the cyclist can't brake quick enough to slam into the car, then he should have left more room.
Yeah. But if you've got a car that's just turning in front of a cyclist, then that's the
Yeah,
car's
well,
fault
what you
anyway.
do with a
It's always
cyclist,
been
if
the
you've got a
case.
car in front and it's indicating to turn left, you don't accelerate and get closer to it, do you?
Oh, they do.
You back off.
I've seen them doing that.
It's common sense, you'd back off. Regardless of what they do, they're doing it because they're thick, not because of anything else. They're just doing it because they're dense, aren't they?
Yeah.
Okay, so people cycling turning right. Apparently now you've got a two-stage manoeuvre. The code will include advice for people cycling using junctions where signs and markings tell them to turn right in 2 stages. Stage 1. When the traffic light turns green, go straight ahead to the located marking or marked by a cycle symbol and turn arrow on the road, then stop and wait. So in other words, it's going to spend millions putting new cycle things all over roads now. Stage 2. When the traffic lights on the far side of the junction, now facing the people cycling, turn green, complete the manoeuvre. Well, isn't that just common sense? Pull into the box, when it's green light, turn right.
As a motorist, you do that every time you come to a crossroads, don't you?
Yeah.
I do it
Why
every-
have to make
every
this
morning.
two-stage thing? That's common sense.
Yeah.
When there's free, when
Go
there's free,
forward
and
as far as
the
you
light
can,
goes
wait for
green,
the cars to be gone and go.
and when the light goes green, turn.
Yeah.
It's funny though that all these rules are all to do with common sense. Funny
And
that.
cyclists, it would seem.
Funny that.
Not that we don't hate cyclists
Yeah. I'm not biased, I just think people are thick.
in general.
Yeah.
People cycling have priority going straight ahead at junctions. The code will clarify that when people cycling are going straight ahead at a junction, they have priority over traffic waiting to turn into or out of a side road,
Obviously.
unless road signs or markings indicate otherwise.
Again,
That's
that's
the
just
same.
common sense, isn't it? It's just as a general road user, you've got a car coming down that
No, it's
road,
not
you're
the same.
pulling out.
Yes.
You don't pull out, do you?
If you're at a side road or whatever, and you're
Oh, he's talking about if the cyclist is on the main road.
yeah.
Oh, I thought
And
he
you're
meant if they-
joining that main road.
Right.
Yeah.
What they're saying is that you should give priority to the cyclist. Well, that was
don't-
always the case anyway,
Yeah, so
wasn't it?
coming out off a traffic lights or something, don't turn left across the cyclist, let them go and then turn left.
Yeah, well, that's always been the same.
And if someone's coming out onto the main road, well, they have to wait for the cyclist anyway.
I thought that meant if a cyclist comes up to a T-junction and someone's waiting to turn right, that the cyclist has priority to go straight across.
It's the same sort of thing, isn't it?
Not really, because they wouldn't have before, would they? Because whoever's on the main road has priority over the side road.
Yeah, but I think that means if the cyclist.
But that doesn't mean that. I got that wrong, ignore that. Okay, the new code with regards to roundabouts. Do not attempt to overtake people cycling within that person's lane.
Yeah.
Allow people cycling to move across their path as they travel around the roundabout. Well, again,
That's because your cyclist has to stay on the left-hand side, the very outside of the roundabout, even if they want to go right. They have to go right round the outside. So if you're coming up on them and you're going straight ahead and they're going right,
yeah,
they're going to signal and you have to let them go across.
I always thought that was stupid.
It
I
is,
always thought, be in your lane. If you're on the road, you should act like a car and be in the lane you want to go. So if you could turn right, be in the right-hand lane.
Yeah.
If you want to turn left or go straight on, be in the left-hand lane.
In a lot of cases, though, the road is a really busy road, isn't it, when you're coming up on a roundabout like that?
Yes. So that hasn't really changed very much. Now, this is something that you highlighted. Do you want to talk about this one?
What's that one?
Yeah.
Opening your door?
Yeah.
Dutch reach around. I think this is
The
ridiculous.
Dutch reach around, isn't that something you find in a Amsterdam window? The
Probably.
Dutch reach around.
It's a Dutch reach, isn't it? But you're reaching around. They're saying, don't just open your door with your, like that. Don't just go, because you're not looking for cyclists, pretty much. But my argument with that is, even if I turn and use this hand and look here, what am I looking at? A B-pillar. A big lump of plastic with a seatbelt hanging off it.
Well, they're asking you to look out your window, I guess, and have your face taken off
My
by the
car's
passing
off.
cyclist.
I can't open my
So
window.
they're suggesting that you open the door so you can look for a cyclist.
No,
They're suggesting you look
this.
through your back window
There you go.
to see if there's a cyclist coming.
I thought you meant they reach around, open the door to look. I was going to say by the time that's happened, you open the door and the cyclist.
No, what they've done, they've shown a picture of this guy with his window open
Yeah.
and him leaning out, looking first before he opens.
Yeah, with
Well-
no seatbelt on.
If I've stopped my car
This guy here.
to the point where I've taken my seatbelt off, the engine's no longer running and my windows don't work.
No, good point. So you can't. And if it's raining, why would you want to do that?
Exactly. You wouldn't.
No.
So
And then if you're in traffic, you wouldn't
think-
want to take your seatbelt off either.
I think with this, the word they use.
Why would you be in
was-
traffic if you're trying to get out though, and over your door?
Eh?
Why would you be in traffic if you're trying to
I
get
don't
out?
know, but he's looking round, look, with no seatbelt on.
I think that's irrelevant. He's parked.
He's parked at the side of the road.
He's waiting to get out.
Was he?
Yeah.
I thought you just meant like just to turn into a junction.
No,
I thought
to
you
get
meant-
out of your car.
Just
Oh, to
open,
get out
to
of
open
the
your
car.
car door and get out.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. So they're saying instead of just doing that, you've got to do this.
Yeah, and the idea is it encourages you to look behind you for cyclists. But my argument is, and this is the way I've always done it for the last 20 years, is I do that and I look in my mirror because I can see more in that mirror than I can by looking through the B-pillar.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm going to continue to do that because I can see more.
I agree. What do you think? Let us know in the comment section below.
It's got nothing to do with Dutch reach around, he won't do it. It's got nothing to do with that.
Dutch reach around is still something you have to buy from a shop window in Amsterdam.
It's called a Dutch reach.
If he was on
I
holiday,
think it's
he'd
because-
think about it.
I think perhaps in the
Do you know
Netherlands
how much a Dutch reach around is? Let us know in the comment section below.
I think in the Netherlands it is the law to open your car door with your opposite hand, which is why it's called the Dutch reach.
Right.
But
Law.
it is a law.
Okay.
But here is they're now saying to encourage people to do that, to enable you to see if a cyclist coming before you open your door.
Well, I've got issue with this, and I'm sorry, I want to refer back to one of the rules in here. It says here, they are then less likely to cause injury to people cycling or riding a motorcycle passing on the road. Not if you follow the previous rule where
Yeah,
you should
leave enough
be at
space.
least 1.5 metres away from the vehicle when you're overtaking something.
And that
So,
varies.
I'm sorry, contradiction.
Yeah, and it varies depending on speed, doesn't it? Under 30 mile an hour, it's like a car door width, I was told when I taught to drive. And if you're going faster than that, allow more room.
Yeah. This one, I think, is stupid, the next one. Using a vehicle electric charge point. For the first time, the code will include guidance about using electric vehicle charge points. When using one, people should park close to the charge point
As opposed to the other side of the car park where the cable won't reach.
to avoid creating a trip hazard. Sorry, spitting now. For people walking from trailing cables. Really? That needs guidance? Display a warning sign if you can. Really?
You know these
A
people
warning
that
sign.
Jamie keeps talking about, these dense people, they're the people that are tripping over power cables.
I just can't believe that. Park close to the charge point when charging your vehicle.
The thing is that how much money they spent to think this stuff up and try and implement it. What a waste.
You know who it is, don't you?
Oh,
it's the same
there's
people.
more. There's more. Sorry, there's more.
No, this is the same people who sit in Parliament and someone says something and they go, "Ah!" because they disagree with it, or "Ah!" because they do agree with it.
Don't they shake paper?
Ah! Paper. It's embarrassing, isn't it? People watch this and then you've got the US where they've got people sat around chatting quite nicely. What is wrong with Britain?
There is more. Afterwards, return charging cables and connectors neatly to minimise danger and other people and avoid creating an obstacle for other road users.
Oh, really? I thought you just tossed it on the floor and left it in a puddle.
I thought you just drove away.
Yeah.
Come out by itself. When you
Oh,
got far
yeah, of
enough.
course, yeah.
Oh.
If you reverse fast enough, the
Honestly.
flap will close as well.
Now, I have one thing I want to add to this. I believe that if a cyclist is being encouraged to be in the middle of the road and act like a motorcycle or a car, then they should be paying road tax.
or at least have some sort of insurance.
Yes, now, racing cyclists, because I mentioned this to someone before, and they said, oh yes, but racing cyclists do have insurance, because their bike's worth thousands. Right, okay, it should be compulsory for everybody.
I don't care what their bike's worth.
Or from
my car's worth more
adult
than their
age.
bike.
From adult age.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a lot, but they have to be able to pay some kind of road fund licence. Something. Like...
They should pay for
can't say road
insurance for
fund.
damage.
Yeah, you can't really say road fund licence because obviously electric vehicles are
Yeah,
free.
but the problem with all of that is it's nothing to do with a vehicle, is it? It's your emissions. And bicycles have no emissions.
Okay, so insurance then. Insurance. Yeah, yeah. Bikes should have insurance. What do you think? Again, let us know in the comment section below what you believe about this. Now, I don't think a massive amount has changed. It's just trying to tell people, look, common sense has been there for 100 years. Use some now. I think that's what it's trying to do.
Trying to enforce some common sense.
Yeah, now what does it say about the generation of people coming through now?
They're all dense.
According to Jamie's world. So let us know in the comment section below. Do you believe what Jamie says is true? All people are dense?
I wonder if it's something to do with snowflakes.
No, it's not snowflakes. Snowflakes can still have common sense. They just like
They're just
weird. They're just weird.
They just cry about it all.
Do they?
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
They just cry about it. I'm offended by. Oh, that's the news. That new one's going to be, isn't it? Everyone's offended. I'm offended that I had to stop my car. The Karens are going to be around everywhere now.
Oh, yeah, Karens and Kens. Yeah.
Ken?
The problem is nowadays is that
Of a Karen,
I just got more Karens.
you're responsible for other people's actions. How the hell does that work? You know, that you're responsible for what other people do.
I mean, the hierarchy, I think, is nonsense. It shouldn't be the smaller the vehicle or the smaller the thing, the more important they are. It should be each individual person in charge of their own individual vehicle, including their own two legs, should have responsibility for looking after
Funnily enough,
themselves.
is what we were taught as kids in the Green
The
Cross
Green
Code.
Cross Code. Yeah, exactly.
They don't teach that anymore, do they?
No, they don't. Well, no,
I
because
do
they'll
like
be
the way-
offended. Oh, some big green man told me what to do. I was offended.
I do like the way in the wording where they say about larger vehicles becomes you have a larger responsibility. Yeah?
Yeah.
I like the way they put motorcycles in there. They put that in there with the same as goods vehicles and stuff like that. Hang on, how can a motorcycle be as dangerous as a 38-ton truck? I don't get it.
And any
How?
of you that ride motorbikes know how vulnerable we are, even more so because we're going a great rate of speed than a cyclist is.
But we're also nearly as small.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you just don't get seen.
No. No. So there you go. That's what we've got to discuss today. Let us know what you think about these new rules, and they're coming in
Day after
2
tomorrow.
days.
Yeah.
Good luck, and we'll see you on the other side.
Actually,
hopefully.
when you putting this video up? Friday?
No, probably tonight.
Tonight?
I should do it tonight.
Day
Not
after
much
tomorrow.
editing.
Don't worry, viewers. All common sense will be obliterated within 2 days.
It will, yes. And what we'll have in future is we'll all walk around in bubble wrap with earmuffs on, so you can't hear people calling you snowflakes and dents. What do you reckon? That works. I think we should patent something.
Pink fluffy earmuffs. Dent shields.
What about earmuffs made of bubble wrap? Pleased with that. Okay, we'll be back very soon in a few days' time with that FB Mondial Imola, and we've got other stuff coming as well. So please stay tuned for that. And is there anything else you want to say?
Yeah. Common sense, people. Common sense.
Just use it.
So until next time, please ride, drive, walk, ride a horse, cycle.
Switch your brain on.
Switch your brain on carefully. But I would say have fun, but it all sounds very stressful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to enjoy driving in the dark and not being able to see pedestrians walking into the road.
Okay, so we need to change our tagline. Please, in an LGBTQ plus way, ride, drive, ride a horse, walk sensibly. I can't say have fun because...
Yeah, no, you can have fun being sensible.
Can you? Yeah, but I might
So what?
offend people by telling them to have fun. They might get offended that I'm trying to tell them to have fun.
Fair play.
Good luck. I didn't know that. Alright. So, until next time, please look after yourself and good luck.
No, because religious folk don't believe in luck, do they?
Oh, God, I forgot about those. Bye! There you go. That's the end.
That's it.